What's up, nerds? Welcome back to another episode of the Aggressively Average Angler / Kayak Adventure Series podcast. We're going to be hanging out tonight talking about lakes, rivers, bodies of water, places that you fish where there are ideally big fish if you get lucky. No, but like, how do you decide which one to go to? Because I don't know about you guys where you live specifically, but like in many places, there are access spots for rivers and for lakes. And you gotta, make your mind up, choose which body of water you want to go fish. And they do, they are different. They are different. So you do have to choose like the right gear, the right kayak, the right rod and reel combos. How many do you bring with you? What lures do you take? What kind of lures are better for the river versus better for the lake? There's definitely some crossover. There's some crossover. Hear me out. But there are some specifics, some ways that you can set yourself up better for success that we want to cover in tonight's show. So we're going to go through, we're going to break it down step by step. And if you guys are participating in a kayak adventure series or a tournament that allows you to fish rivers and or lakes, maybe both, right? And you're trying to make up your mind and make that decision, maybe we can help out tonight. So we're going to get into all that. Got a lot to talk about. Maybe you're tuning in live from a Kayak Adventure Series over in Virginia. We got the New River Revival going on this week in Pulaski, Virginia. So hopefully if you're there, you have a great time. I hope you catch some giants. I hope you crush it, all of you, everyone there, because you guys are awesome and that event's awesome. And thank you for supporting it. And we'll miss you because we're not there, obviously. I'm at home, and so is Paul. Why aren't we there, Paul? What's wrong with us? Shouldn't we be traveling the country and fishing at almost 40 years of age?
I'm not able to go. I wasn't able to go to this one. I've got my wife's gonna be out of town. She's running the marathon in Utah.
That's awesome. In Utah.
It's super awesome. Up in the mountains.
That's really cool. I am not going because it is my 17-year anniversary with my wife. So yeah. All the rumors about me and Paul being together, not true. 17 years with my wife, way longer, bud. Sorry. I don't know. Actually, we got
not that much longer, actually.
Before I got married, so
for sure, dude.
When's our anniversary? Like?
We're 15, I think.
No way.
Yeah, I think so.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
2007. 2007 we met, I think.
7 or 8, something like that, yeah.
So that's almost 20 years.
It's insane, bro.
Got my marriage by 2.
That's insane, bro. That is wild.
Oh man, sorry, but I'm playing favorites. I'm gonna hang out with her this weekend.
Well, yeah, she's better looking and cooler than I am. So
very true on all accounts.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it for tonight. Though we got lakes, we got rivers to get into, and actually, I'm sorry, I'm glossing over a very important thing that we're supposed to do today.
That's right.
So I think we'll do that first. You guys might have heard we worked with Jake Suvak with Wildside Strength. He's a strength and conditioning coach. He has an awesome program that he was putting out there for beginners to intermediate. And we got together with him about, 3.5 months ago, 4 months ago, to put together the Fit to Fish Challenge. Whole goal behind that was, hey, let's get folks who like to go out to the great outdoors, go out on their kayaks, catch some fish. Let's get them more fit. Let's get them training. Let's get them healthy. Let's do that because we could all use a little more fitness. It helps us out on the water. It's a big safety thing too. And yeah, we put together this challenge with him and he programmed the whole thing. I say we put together. We basically said, call it Fit to Fish. Here's a logo. Paul put it together. And that's all we did. And then we said, we will also participate and shout it out to people because we would love to see more folks participating in this. And we're going to give away some prizes. So let's do that right now. We have a bunch of prizes to give away. And this is just for folks who participated in the 90-day Fit to Fish specifically, which, by the way, I do want to call out. It is a great way to start with any programming. Doesn't require any equipment. You can just work body weight at home, 30, 45 minutes a day, super doable, very good program. So if you want to participate in that, Chaz, if you could put this link, I'm going to put it over in private chat, unless you're in show notes right now. But yeah, we'll put the link up if you guys want to check this out. Go support Jake and his strength training programming journey. Get yourself fitter while you do it.
And there are a bunch of people who joined after doing this that are like going to do the programming and continue to do it. with
I hope they do.
Wildside because it's working. It's kind of the perfect thing. Like Jeff and I do something very, very similar. It's more like the way we like to lift. It's a different program, but like we do the exact same thing. And that's what you guys see us doing like on our Instagram stories when we're like tagging people. And I try and put my workouts in when I can and film a little chunk of it whenever I can. But we do literally almost the exact same. Drop into the app, workouts right there for you, and it's anywhere from like 45 minutes, usually 45 minutes to do a workout. And not that I'm like super jacked or anything, but like I'm definitely feeling stronger than average, and I'm going to be 40 here pretty soon. So I don't know, you have to find out what works for you.
Yeah.
And having somebody write the programming for you, I can tell you, it's just removes such a huge barrier. And then knowing that you can do it with what you have at your house removes two other barriers. One, having to buy stuff. Two, having to have a gym membership. So it's like you can do a lot of damage when someone's just writing you a solid workout.
Yeah, like I have a bachelor's degree in exercise science. I wrote programming for a living for over a decade, and I would rather have Jake write it. Like, I'll be honest, like,
dude,
I don't need to write my own stuff.
Yes.
I'd rather have somebody else do it, and you guys should too. Anyways, let's knock this out. I think we have like 9 or 10 prizes, something like that, for the folks that participated enough throughout the 90 days. So, like, you had to hit a certain quota of workouts. I think it was like 28 in 90 days. So if you met those, those benchmarks, then you qualified for this. So let's go through it. Number one, we're doing a couple of bait bags in this, and this is one of them. So first bait bag is going to Patrick Peterson. And we're just shouting it out today. By the way, you guys will get a message from Jake Subak as well. And then we're going to get your details and all that. So don't worry about that right now. I just wanted to shout you guys out. Those who participated, did the work. Kudos to you. Hopefully you enjoy the prizes that we're sending out. The AAA bait bags, by the way, we load these suckers up. You're going to get around $100 in tackle easily. We pack envelopes, baby. Next up is a giveaway from Debo. So Debo's Fishing also participated, also kicked butt during this challenge.
Dude, he is a beast. He's getting after it, and I love it so much. I think he was one of the people that maybe is going to continue the programming. Dude, he's a monster.
I hope so. If he hasn't, like, I'm going to talk him into it. He for sure. That's fantastic for him. I love, proud of my dude. Proud of you, Debo. But he is putting together a giveaway as well, and that one is going to Amanda Brannon. And there's actually a twofer prize here because Matthew Brannon gets the next one, which is a $50 Yak Attack gift card. So Amanda gets the Debo giveaway. Matt, you're getting the $50 Yak Attack gift card. So congrats to you guys on those. Then we got my man, Rob Harrison. He's in here. He's in chat. You are getting a D hooker. And I think Paul has a couple unopened ones. Maybe we do like a couple of sizes. I got a few too.
I have 2.
Pull the D hookers and get you hooked up. Unhooked, de-hooked. So Rob, you're getting the de-hooker, man. Congrats on that. We got one more cast, and it's listed as Esquire. I thought it was Please.
Like you do.
Right? One more cast, Please is his screen name, but when he's working out, it's Esquire. So I dig it. So one more cast, Esquire. You're getting a prize from Essential Provisions. So
those are
Provisions. Dope. They do like ready-made meals. So you're going to get a pack from them. And they were sponsoring the nutrition for this challenge as well. Then we got Michael Rode, who is getting a kayak cushion.
That's legit.
That's a pretty sick prize right there. So Michael getting the kayak cushion. And then we got JC Sanchez with a $50 Yak Attack gift card.
Can't go wrong.
Going out. I mean, right? Like you can get whatever you need, man.
Can't go wrong.
Ryan Werner is getting another AAA bait bag.
Yes.
So we'll be hooking you up with that. Tons of tackle in it. And finally, last but not least, we got Rodney West with another D hooker tool. So we wanted to take a minute on today's episode to shout that out. I know we're getting the fishing content. Just be patient. We're getting there. But we're proud of our folks who did the Fit to Fish challenge. Congrats on participating, getting through that. Hopefully you got some great results, and now you're going to get some stuff that you want, some kayak stuff or some fishing lures. I mean,
think about the double dip on that. Like, you did workouts, you won from doing the workouts, and you get cool prize. Like,
now you get stuff.
Dude,
there you go.
We did, like, that's legit. And also Bowler on here, Rob Harrison. He actually is just getting himself set up with a custom program from Wildside after this. So, and Jake,
Heck
dude, Jake
yeah.
is doing like programming for like athletes, like college athletes. Like he knows the stuff. You're getting
I
the
love
dub.
it. Love it. All right. So there's a weird chat I just came across. Anyways, somebody
Okay.
had a bad day of fishing that I
I
saw.
saw that one. Yeah,
Did you see that?
I did.
It's
All
like,
right. Well,
hey man,
I did.
sometimes it's tough.
We are gonna talk. We are gonna talk fishing. So I want to switch over. We're gonna do our Q with the D. I
Let's
have a
do
good
it.
one today. I want to rank bycatches. So you're
Uh-huh.
fishing for bass, and while you're fishing for bass, you get like
Yep.
you'll often catch other species, right? I want to
Facts.
know, like, I'll throw out like the top 5 or 6, and I want to know which ones, how you would rank these. One would
Okay.
be, well, not one, but option number one,
Okay.
you're gonna get some bluegill slash panfish, right? So that's
Yes.
one. You are gonna get some, if you're in the north, pike. That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You are gonna get some like wiper or whitefish
Yep.
type thing. You are gonna get catfish every once in a while.
Wild when that
You
happens.
and then you're gonna get the odd. I'm not gonna put turtle in there, but you will get the odd turtle.
I've done it.
And then you're gonna
Alligator,
get
anybody?
what's the one I'm thinking? Oh, freshwater drum. You're gonna get the odd freshwater drum too.
Yep. So I have to rank all of those or just pick like my
I would just
top?
like, what are your top 3? What were your top
I'm
3
like
be in order?
least upset when I bycatch this. That means that
Carp
denotes the
too.
top.
Carp too.
Okay. So for me, and it's going to oppose a lot of bass fishermen out there, but my number one bycatch is always a pike. Like if I get a pike, I'm actually stoked about it. I love catching pike. We don't like target them specifically. So when we bycatch them, it's like, I did this on purpose, totally, right? But it's always just like a cool little surprise. I get why people hate when that happens. They do steal a lot of lures. They can be a pain in the butt to mess with. But when you accidentally catch a giant pike, to me, it's hard to beat that. Muskie would be there too, but like it's really hard to bycatch them. You have to target them most of the time.
They're
But if
usually
you
in deeper
were,
water. They're not usually that shallow.
right, which is why they're not on this list. But like that would be the next best thing. I'd be like, no, that's insane. That would be crazy. I mean, it's happened for sure. Very rare.
I've done it.
Pike's number one for sure. And then I would go with drum is always wild when you bike because drum like they
run.
throw down. So like when you bycatch that and then your drag is screaming, you're like, okay, cool. So maybe that's number 2, I think, for me. I do love that. And for me, it only really happens when we go to St. Clair or I hit like a Great Lake.
Yeah.
Not around here, but because of the rarity of it, I rank it way higher. And then I would say one that's been fun for me lately is like warmouth. It's like whenever you get that hybrid like bass, rock bass kind of mix, like they're really cool looking fish for one. Also, they are aggressive like bass, and they will just smack at lures. There's a bunch on my lake where I live, and they're always fun to catch. So I'll put them like number 3. What about you?
It's really hard. I don't like. I'll
like
a different day. Yeah, like different day. It'll be a different answer.
Yeah,
but I think my number 1 would also be northern pike. Just the coolest fish. I mean, they're so cool and they're just savage. And then I like the fear factor of getting it into the kayak. I love that. My number 2 actually be catfish, I think, because the catfish, they run like crazy. They're super strong. And if you get like a 16-incher, they're delicious. So I'm winning there. I think though, gigantic perch. Like when one of those massive baddies that's like 16 inches long, 14 inches long, and it's just like it dump trucks whatever crankbait you had on there. You're like, oh, this will be a fun bass, because you don't know, like, really, until you're like halfway retrieving. You're like, this is something else, but why is it so big? And then, dude, you get that flash of color. That is so satisfying. I love it when, I will say, like like you said, warmouth though.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget on the lake near my house that we go to, that absolute unit of a reddier.
Oh, that lake has
so
giants.
big, just beast mode. Like ate 6 other standard red ear, like bigger than your hand, like
Oh yeah,
completely
we're
envelop your
talking
hand, like a
that big.
plate, huge. Um, Catching a fish like that, like a freak,
Yeah.
is that's number one.
Well, like one of the Easter eggs in your "I chopped off my foot with an ice auger" video
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
is
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
after
Yeah.
you left, I ran
Yeah.
into some old dude who's been ice fishing for like 60 years. Rolls out, he's got nothing. He's got like a bucket, and he rolls up with like a bucket and like the old Sidewinder
Oh,
ice
yeah.
fishing reels,
Yes.
and he
Like
shows
Jamie.
me,
Like
yeah,
Jamie.
he shows me his bucket, and it was full, and I mean 5-gallon bucket, full to the brim of within limit, I'm sure. I don't know this
Well,
guy. I don't
50
care.
is the limit, so
Yeah. So yeah, but they were all this big. They're all
huge.
dinner plates.
They don't make
Red
small
ears.
ones in that lake. If you catch a red ear in that lake, it's
Yeah.
the size of your face. And you know what? They're really hard to
Crazy.
find. They're not easy to
He
find.
was
I've only
on the
caught
spot.
maybe 6 or 7, and I've been on that lake like
Yeah.
30 times.
Yeah, it's nuts. And I
It's
was like,
crazy.
where were you? And he was like, well, you see that chimney there, and then I go 30 yards this way. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
never
whatever,
mind,
dude, whatever.
See you later, bud. It's all
Yeah.
good.
No, somebody just called out walleye. As much as I do like walleye, as
They are
much
pretty
as I
fun
like walleye,
bycatch.
they're
Yeah.
just, unless they're huge, they just roll over and you're like, oh, that's interesting. And then you throw them
Yeah.
back. Like, I don't get like,
Specifically the big ones is
no,
a
and
good
I
bycatch,
caught a 32-inch from shore
which is
one year, which is crazy in the
Yeah.
summertime. It was crazy. So,
Yeah.
and I've caught a bunch of 20, 24, 26, but a 30
Sure.
plus from shore is wild. That's cool. Anytime you catch like a freak fish is great, but
Yep.
no, I like the pike are great because like when they decide to stomp on the brakes, they just do. And then the fear factor is awesome and they're big. That's all good stuff. Same with
Yep.
catfish, big, mean, run. Like that's all part of the equation.
Love it. Yeah, plenty of other good ones in here. I'll throw bowfin in too. But the thing I hate about bowfin is they damage hooks so easily.
They're nasty too.
Yeah, they do fight like crazy. The fear
Mhm.
factor's there, but your trebles are destroyed, and if you had a
Yeah.
spinnerbait, your spinnerbait's dead. Like they are so much worse than pike at destroying lures. I hate that, but they are pretty crazy fish. I've had a few fun catches with them. All right, so let's get into the show. So we're trying to pick a body of water, and I would love to. Let's do this, Chaz. Let's get everybody moving a little bit. Let's do a little poll. What is your preferred body
This
of
is
water?
like my least favorite thing when like you're at work and they're like, all right, everybody stand up and let's stretch. And I want to be like, stand up and jump off a bridge. Like I don't know why.
I'm
but
asking
that's what that
people to
reminds me
click
of.
one
I
button,
know.
Paul. Calm the frig
Like,
down.
we need to get
All right,
everybody,
everybody. No. Now we're
everybody
gonna do it.
move around. Like, oh my god.
I would like everybody to say
no.
their name and one fact about them.
Oh, I
Paul,
would like
you
to
start.
swallow my own head rather than like, am I alone? Am I alone? That is the worst feeling.
You're definitely not alone. I hate that as well. My least favorite thing is when I would go to those like work events, seminars, and after every break, they'd be like, "All right, guys, we're back from break. All right, cool. We're gonna do a game." And then like everybody else participate, and I'm like, can we just learn? I just want to learn the thing. I don't care about all this.
I just want to die now.
Yep. Anyways, so I'm glad I've
I'm triggered.
I'm glad I'm triggering you. That's what I'm here for.
Well, obviously.
Anyways, all I was asking for was a poll. I just wanted to know,
do
you prefer rivers or lakes? Like, if given the choice, you're going to your local lake or you go into the current, you're going to hit the river. And if you're saltwater only, that's totally cool too. I know I'm talking to freshwater folks. Don't worry, we got to get like another saltwater guest on the show in the future and do some saltwater talk. Saltwater fishing is freaking cool. It is goated. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I love it. I'm jealous. I would do it all the time if I could. I live in Michigan, so I can't.
Yeah. I would do freshwater fishing as much as I do like bobbing for apples. Never. Like I would never. I would never go back.
That could have gone a couple. You could have been like, which is a lot. Like all I do,
which I do with great frequency. No, dude,
regularly.
Like, no way I'm ever going back. Like, there's no way.
All I'm thinking is like, you know how you store your fruit like you just have your bag of apples, right? Instead, you just have a bin of water and your apples are just floating all week. And anytime you're just like, oh, I kind of want an apple, you have to bob for one. I like this actually. I'm gonna start a company that's called Bobbin for Fruit, and like all of
You're
the
just gonna
fruit
have some rotten grapes floating around in a bucket at your house,
just mixed in with spit. Just
oh God.
all right, never mind. We had to close our
You know
company.
what? It was
a good run.
It was a $12 idea.
It was 12-cent idea.
Oh, God, dozens of dollars.
I retract my statement for my dozens of cents. All right. Where are we at on this poll? We got 29 votes in. Lake is dominating right now.
Whoa.
Lake fishing is dominating at 62%, 38%. Now, I'd be curious too how many of these folks are north versus south. Like
really?
fishing.
Why?
Just different species, right? Like there is a cutoff to where you can get like good smallies. There's shoal bass, like go down south, like you can get a whole bunch of different species of like, yeah. So I don't know. I don't fish for those. I don't like I don't know what that's all about down there. But I know that we have a big river culture up north, Wisconsin, Michigan, Midwest. Like it's huge. And then you go even northeast, right? You get to St. Lawrence. There's a lot of like smallmouth dominated rivers up here. So I was just wondering, maybe there's
like even like Tennessee.
Like there's great rivers.
There's great.
I want to fish those.
There. Yeah.
But you go south of that, you don't get them anymore. So you're fishing for different species. But I mean, there's still great species out there. Just smallmouth culture is a thing. Like it's definitely a thing.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, all right. So I'm looking at
it's getting closer. 57-43.
It did inch closer. We got a bunch more votes in there. So it seems like kind of split, almost down the middle. Lots of lake versus
I get it though. Like
river.
Lakes are easier. Somebody said it. Lakes are easier, rivers are better. I mean, that's kind of fair.
That's actually a fantastic statement. That sums this all up. As I'm looking at what I'm assuming is a picture of a river in your profile pic there too. I see a brush pile. Let's go. So lake versus river, there is a difference. So let's talk about the differences in these, and especially with like, you know, we got to put our tournament focus hats on. This is my tournament focus hat right there.
Well, and we should have announced at the beginning of the show. This is a KAS show. So this is our aggressively average anglers. Good for you. Bye. You know, I didn't hear it. I don't know. I missed it.
That's how I used to launch a show. I said, what's up, nerds? AAA KS.
I love it. Good. But yes, this is a tournament focused version of the show. So hence this specific topic.
Yep.
But we are talking like tournament tactics. So if you are trying to, if you're like Jeff said, if you were at earlier, if you are going to a tournament, you're going to try and figure out where to go. We're going to talk about like what gear, like how you can prepare differently for each one. So I have it set up by the kayak setup you're going to take is going to change. The combos are going to change. The baits are going to change. And then the prep and scouting, the way you prep and scout is also going to be different depending on which type of body of water you elect to choose. So let's go from the bottom up. Let's start with prep and scouting because that's kind of where we're headed. So if you are, let's say you're looking at a map. Oh, well, so this is a good question. Which one has more and bigger fish? I picked that one. So Utopia Outdoorsman, great question. I will tell you this. And this is why I kind of wanted to go to prep and scouting first, because it might be the question that someone would ask first. Like, which one should I do? I think time of year has a big, big part to play in this because your smaller bodies of water, for sure, like your lakes, like if you're at a KS, you're going to be fishing a lot of like medium-sized lakes are going to be, and like some ponds, but like those are going to be accessible to you. Those are going to be heating. Those are going to be heating up earlier than the river will. The river will be a couple degrees lower temp, usually, especially in the springtime. At that, like early in the season. So if it's like April, May, or even like February, March, if you're in the South, you can expect the rivers to be a little colder, running a little deeper, faster water, and then your lakes are going to be colder water. But I'm probably picking lake that early in the year, just because you have a better chance at probably catching a stagnant fish in cold water. It'll be a little bit easier, in my opinion.
Also, if you find them, they typically stack.
They'll be together.
So yeah, you can target in volume, and for us, often that's the case. That's how we start the years. We usually start on the lake, and then sometime around, depending on spring runoff, it's like mid-late April. If weather conditions are okay enough, we're on the river. Like I want to catch that where river temps are starting to go up a little bit. Smallmouth are getting more active,
like
start moving
60s.
more. Yeah. So, which in this case, this year, it's going to be like late May, but
like now,
my lake is just now at 59 degrees.
Oh,
so, yes, dude, it's cold.
Good. We got lucky. I'll
I
take that
know.
long window
Yeah,
forever.
we have had an insane amount of rain, an insane
Yeah.
amount of runoff.
Yeah.
Rivers have been very high
and
very
snow melt.
muddy.
We had a good amount of snow.
Yeah. So, as these rivers are starting to calm down, as we left Indiana, the rivers were coming down from like heavy flooding. So as they come down and those fish get less spread out, it gets more productive. But yeah, so there's, you got to pick your spot kind of depending on the year.
Well, but then as you exit spring, that's like prime time for the river. That's like probably the best chance at catching big fish. So, and then they start to spread out a little bit, like Jeff said. But then the lakes are also a really good option at that point too. And we'll talk about how to attack that in just a second. Then though, you get into summer, and like peak summer, I tend to you got to check the water levels, and you can check the gauges, and you can check the, like if you go to USGS and you check like the river flow, it'll tell you like how high the water is, like how many feet. It'll also tell you whether it's high or low for that time of year. So like August, you could expect the water levels, like the river levels, typically to be lower than average and like knee deep. Like if it's normally waist deep, expect it to be half that, like knee deep. If it's 6 feet deep, expect it to be like 4 feet deep. So they're going to be running a little slower, but that also means the fish get congregated all in those like deeper pockets. So if you have a kayak that can handle it, if you can find an accessible launch, if you're okay with doing some walking and some dragging, you can find those fish stuck in some areas that they typically wouldn't be, because they're going to try and find that colder water or the moving water and deeper water. So that can narrow down what already is narrow in a river. And also lakes can be really hard at that like peak August, late July, dog days, summer heat. Like I don't want to be caught dead on a bluebird sky day, 95 degrees on day number 5 of that, and everything's just shut down. Like give me the river every time. I feel like I'm going to be able to catch a couple fish easier there. So there's always that to consider.
Or you basically just have to go find them super deep at that point, and you got to like
or
deep
hyper
water fishing.
Shallow anywhere there's a lick of shade, right?
Yeah,
but that can be
learn to skip docks and pontoons, and you can save a day on a lake. Yeah,
and that can be really hard too, right? So you gotta. I guess I'm saying is like just understand that the river changes throughout the year, and then as you go later in the year and you get into the fall, you kind of go back to the reverse spring. Things are starting to flow a little heavier. Temps are dropping. Fish are getting frisky. And
I love fall river time.
I love fall. Fall river time is peak. It's elite.
So good.
And then obviously safety. So as you get into like December, November, I start getting a little bit leery about the river, especially if it's high and the water's running fast. If you flip when the water's like 55, 60 degrees, like you're done.
You're toast.
You're in
and
trouble,
you're
dude.
Too
you're
far
from wherever you're going to pull out. So then I start defaulting to lake as well, just like we talked about earlier. So that's one thing to always keep in mind is what state, is the river in and what state is the lake in? Because sometimes it'll make sense to pick one over the other. That's a huge one for me.
And then, on that, let's get into like prepping and scouting. So how do you find the spot, right? So there's, lakes generally easy to find, right? River launches, they can be tricky, and there's more than you think. You really just have to like do your research, zoom in on a map. Just about every state has a like river trails. So you can find river trails. You can get estimated float times if you wanted to. When we say float, if you guys don't do rivers, we mean like pick a spot and you're just going with the current down to the next spot, right? So you pick 2 points. That is ideal if you have buddies, right? Like if you have somebody,
know which way the river's flowing.
That is tricky too, because it's not like intuitive. Like, and when you get there, you have to like pull up your map and then look at the direction. You're like, okay, it's flowing that way.
Or you have to like Google
so
it. You have to figure it out.
That's what we did in Indiana, right? Because those 4 rivers all kind of flow different directions. The main 4 rivers that were in play at the Kayak Adventure Series event in Indiana. So we just looked it up. We're like, what direction does it flow? And it'll tell you like, oh, this is
East, west, north,
southwest.
south,
Yeah.
whatever.
Right. And then you're like, okay, cool. So then you got to trace it out on the map. So it definitely takes a little bit more prep if you're going to go hit the river, I feel, than the lake. Because most time with the lake, like I can see the spot. There's like 1 or 2, maybe big lakes, like multiple launches. Pick your launch, drop a pin, go there, do the thing. With the river,
Assuming it's public.
yeah, exactly, right. And that's the thing. Like where I live, there are, because you're in the Waterloo State Game Area, right? So you have lots of public waters. It's all basically public water, and I am in the opposite. And like most waters by me are all private. And that's a bummer because you have to live on the lake to get access to the lake, unless you're a naughty, naughty person. So don't do that. Don't go sneaking out of those lakes with big fish. Don't get in trouble, please, seriously. But yeah, like you have to look it up. You have to see if they're, public access, right? And they'll usually be listed, or you'll show up and you'll see the big yellow sign that says no public access. And you're like, dang it, I gotta go find another spot. But yeah, look into that. Well, you can also you can do one thing that I've tried doing quite a bit over the past is like just get a hold of the association. Like you can see if you can get access to some of those. Most will not give you access. Some will be nice though. Some will be nice. It's worth. I mean, the worst they could say is no, right? And I have one by me, and I just ask them like every other week, and they ignore me. But I'm going to keep asking them, and eventually they might answer. I know so many people on this freaking lake, Paul. I'm getting access at some point in time. I just have to get a sticker and make it okay. I know.
We need to ask somebody to ask the association for us.
That's what I'm working on. But I basically told my wife, I was like, look, you teach at our school, like 30 people on this lake. All I want for Father's Day, nothing else. All I want for Father's Day, give me 2 boat stickers to that lake. That's all I want. I don't care about anything else. So that's how good that lake is. Like I want to be on that lake. It's a good spot. It's a good spot. You got to dodge party boaters a little bit, but there's some big.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
No, light work, baby. I mean, NK 300. I can
that's
get out
nothing. I will tell you though, scouting a lake, like Jeff talked about, it's finding a launch, and then you're checking for depth areas. You're checking for bottom content. You can find all that on the DNR site. I tend to stay away bass fishing. I tend to stay away from like the marl and all that sort of thing. You also want to find some, I always want to look for like old roadbeds and things like that are down there. Like those are always a magnet for fish. Any inlet where a creek feed is coming in, like that's a magnet for fish.
So Google Earth, DNR, USGS, these are all things that we use.
Brain.
Yeah, you branch out to the apps just to see generally what's productive or what's not productive.
Yeah. And you can look to see for things like crazy docks and whatnot, like that are, really popular and where people have caught fish and things like that. Those are always good. So, but like lakes, that's a pretty common. Oh, another way to just, again, some ways to judge quality of the fish in a lake. You can check the shock surveys on DNR. It'll tell you like literally how big and what percentage of size like bass were pulled out of the lake. So it'll tell you like X number of 20 inchers, X number of 14 inchers, and blah, blah, blah. Like it'll tell you that. And that's like your chances of catching those fish, literally. And it'll say what other species are in there and what they're eating and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of information you can find on a lake. Google Earth is the number one, by the way, just to be clear, because you can look at different times of the year and see what the cover looks like in summer, lily pad fields, high grass, hydrilla, whatever. You can see all kinds of stuff.
Just zoom in on it, and that helps a lot. And then also using apps like remember when we were on the Omnia Pro?
Oh, Omnia Pro is legit, dude. The depth on that was crazy good.
Yeah, because you can also check up-to-date water temps.
Yes, and wind, everything. Yeah.
Yep. So if I'm heading to another state, I don't have time to pre-fish if I'm using like an Omnia.
Good point for another state.
Right. So when the first time we used it was way back when we did Gunnersville for the first time, right? we've only fished it once. So for the time that we fished Gunnersville. But anyway, so we went down for this event. It was a kayak bass fishing tournament, the Knucklehead Bass Fishing Tournament, which was cool. We got to fish with a bunch of you guys. But yeah, we pulled up the Omnia Pro and we checked water temps. We checked all the spots. It pins all the launches. So apps like that are really helpful. And like a big statement that came out of the Indiana event for Kayak Adventure Series was eliminating water, right? So it was like those who did best, they were the ones who got there, maybe a day, 2 days in advance, or just did killer research and they eliminated a lot of unproductive water before they got there. So time is limited. None of us have an infinite amount of time. So if you don't want to waste your time on water where there's, just dinks or nothing, right? Or get to a spot and be like, this isn't going to work. Do the research ahead of time. Having apps like that Omnia Pro and stuff like that, Fishbrain, that gives you average catches, species. Navionics, another great one. Is that what we used in BC? Everybody had Navionics, or was it something else? Yeah. Navionics saved the friggin' day. I mean, we were cruising. We were covering 7 miles or so a day on the ocean. And like, we don't know what we're doing. So we're just following around the Navionics guys. And we're like, where should we drop our line? And then we just did it there. And it worked. It was great. So all that stuff is good. So learn how to do the research. I personally love exploring. Maybe you guys do too. Maybe if you've done Kayak Adventure Series, you get it. But I would love to go to new bodies of water. But I know we all get in that comfort zone. We're like, listen, I can just go fish my lake. I know I'll catch some fish. Nothing giant, but it'll be fine. It'll be a day of fishing. It's great. And we're like afraid to step out of that comfort zone and go try a new body of water. Because like, what if it sucks? What if it does? But if you do the research ahead of time, then you don't waste that time. Get on the productive spots instead.
Yeah. So that's how, and then you try and to Jeff's point, if you're looking at all the legal bodies of water, try and pick the ones that you think have the most types of places you want to fish. So whether it's points, drop-offs, bottom stuff, feeders, access points. If you just want to pick one lake that has a lot of options, that's good. But you're going to want to rank all your lakes based on what you feel confident in. So like I said, if you're a big lake point guy, find all your depth charts, find the lakes that have cool points, do that. Also, check the water temps if you can find that information. Omnia Pro is a phenomenal resource. And if you can find a bigger lake that while all the other ones are heating up, if that one's still cold, go to that one, right? Or vice versa. If all the other ones are frigid and you can find the one that's warming up, that might be a difference maker for you, right? You're targeting, I want to see 60-degree water. That's my best chance to catch fish or whatever. Whatever works for you. Find what you're looking for and hunt that down with whatever research you can, and then make your plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So that's lakes. Now, rivers, very different. So Jeff talked about trying to find access points. That takes a little more scouring. That takes a little more work.
Sure does.
Know the laws. A lot of places you can launch at a bridge crossing, a road crossing. Google Earth and Google Maps are great here because you can see when there's like public pull-offs that maybe you just don't see on a map. You could check. I check almost every single crossing. I check for a little parking lot and pull off because they're there a lot of times.
A little dirt road.
And, and then a little square spot for you to launch.
That's how we found like some major hidden gems on the Grand River.
I do it all the time.
But that's what we did in Indiana too. Like we started with that and then eventually found some launches and then we went to the wrong one and it wasn't great, but it was fine.
Well, and then so that's one thing is find your access points. Two, try and think about, this is a big one that we've heard a lot from a lot of really good anglers, is think about the places that some other people are maybe not willing to go. Or not, get access to a stretch river that someone maybe is not willing to access. So let's say you only have like 3 access points on this river, and maybe even without a motor, you'd have to paddle downstream like 5 miles before you could even start fishing. It's be 2 hours of just paddling. But no one else is going to do that. No one else is going to do that.
A largely untouched stretch of water. The fish aren't as beat up. Maybe they're hiding out there, especially on tournaments and holidays. So, like, if you want to hit the water on a holiday, it gets freaking crazy out there. Memorial Day, Labor Day, July 4th, whatever. If you want to just have a good time of solitude in the great outdoors, find that unbeaten path, and you'll be alone. And that's great.
That's one thing you can do. Another thing is, get a motor. That is a huge game changer. If you have one, plan on utilizing it. Um, and a big thing you got to check for too is where are you gonna be cut off from the river. A lot of times there are places where there's no
Portages.
portage,
Yeah.
and maybe you won't have access to that portage, or there isn't one, and you're screwed. We've run
We've
into
done
this
that.
before. I've done this before, and that'll blow up your entire game plan, right?
Yep.
It really will. So that's a big one. And then another thing on the river is, again, just understanding the depth. So USGS river charts, super, super, super important because you're going to want to know whether you're higher or lower than average and what the actual depth is. If it
Hmm.
says 3 feet, that's freaking low. Know that you're going to
Hmm.
be scraping bottom, walking. You're going to have to
Yep.
drag your kayak for a bit. If you have a huge storm, like a significant storm, understand some trees are going to be in your way, and you're going to have
Yep.
to be prepared to get out and cross some. If you're going upstream or downstream, you're going to be prepared for that. Um, and then with river fishing, though, I'll be honest with you guys, like I'm not really great, and I don't really have a lot of tips for you guys to pull, like to say, well, this is a good river fishing area, this is a bad stretch. The only way that I've ever found to truly know if there are big or bigger fish in a river, and again, this is not my strong suit, is just to fish it and fish it at different times of the year. And so I would struggle with that the same as anybody else. The
Hmm.
one thing that Jeff and I do typically allow ourselves to do is we do a really long river float on a tournament day. And then if the stretch of river that we're fishing at that moment isn't productive, zoom until it changes and just keep trying to find different areas until we find a spot that's got some fish. So if you're fishing a bunch of laydowns and you're like, man, I really thought this was it, and you don't get any fish at all, keep going until there's no laydowns. Find some rock or some big, deep drop offs or
Hmm.
something. Use your graph and rely on your side scan just to find something different. Then start fishing that. And if that doesn't work, go find structure, right? Go find some seawalls, go find some big boulders, like whatever it
Yep.
happens to be, bridge, whatever, and just go find something different. Then try that. And then just keep hitting the river till you see either literally see fish or until you could start catching them and you have found them. But the river is honestly a lot tougher to scout. It really is. It's mostly what could you do from
Hmm.
a point A, point B drift or motor standpoint, and then really watch out for any blockages that will prevent you from doing what you want to do. And then this is really hard. Distance on the river is really hard to manage.
Yeah.
If you see a whole bunch of curves in a river, there's really not many resources to tell you how many miles in between point A and point B. If you're in a really populated area, sometimes you can Google and they'll say, like, well, it's generally 1 to 4 hours between spots A and B. And then between B and C is generally 4 to 6 hours. And there's some rapids, so watch out for that. Sometimes those resources exist. They do not always. And I wouldn't expect to find them, to be honest with you, especially where a lot of these tournaments are. I wouldn't expect to see a lot of that. So, yeah, you're going to roll the dice a little bit with the river. And the river is different depending on what time of year. So you have to do a little more research and then be prepared for all the curveballs that are going to come your way.
But there's ways to mitigate a lot of it. Like when we were in Indiana, the river trails were available.
Yeah.
They just didn't go through Plymouth. Like the river trails started after northeast and southwest of Plymouth. That's where they marked them. But you can get a general idea, and then yeah, for sure. Like try one thing you can do on like Google Map, Google Earth, whatever similar. Like if I go for a run, I can like trace, right, and you can get a little bit of distance. So I mean, you can do that on a river too. And then you can also guesstimate a little bit, but like look at the curves and you're going to be off. But it gives you like an idea. We've done that.
It's just the
Times.
number and the depth of curve
So
versus
yeah,
what you usually see.
right. If it's a little tiny curve, it's adding a little bit of distance. But
Yeah.
sometimes you get that super long curve and you're like, okay, just it's a mile spot to spot on the road. It's 2.5 on the river. Like it's going to take me a long time. And yeah, I mean, we'll get into probably safety on that stuff too. But yeah, with the river, like it's one of those things where I feel like the scouting takes longer, but if you do it right, it really pays off. And like if you want to get into some big river fish, they're there. Like multi-species are there. You just have to find them. Like Paul was saying, if they're not under this cover, go to this cover. If you go from grass to rock to laydowns to brush piles to whatever, like docks now, go to a populated stretch of river where you have everybody with their docks and their boats there. Maybe they're under that tree overhangs, blah, blah, blah. There's all that stuff. But definitely, I think of what you said, one of the biggest things to take into consideration is how many dams are there portages? Am I going to get stuck? And then, yeah, if you go to, so Paul and I did, I think it was 2 years ago now when we got the Shoalie the first time, our first two Shoalies, we went to a stretch after a big storm, and it was a really choked out, like tight section of river. We're talking maybe 20 feet across. So very narrow stretch. And with those trees laying down, we were limboing. We were having to go underneath them. You'll see guys go out in the canoe with a chainsaw, trying to just like break them down. That ain't me. I ain't doing that, but we'll do our best. The Shoalie, luckily, very agile, can get you around all those spots. So, yeah. And then Bass Raft brought up Onyx. Onyx is another fantastic resource too. Just to find, especially for like public versus private situations, big help on that. Cool. So yeah, there's like some of the basics. I think a big thing we're taking away from this is live on Google Earth and maybe get like a cool premium service that gives you a lot more details than you can otherwise procure with the internet. At least like up to date things. So Omnia, Onyx, Fishbrain, something like that can be very valuable as a resource. So you don't waste your time and you can eliminate unproductive waters. Cool.
The last thing is just if you can pre-fish, like Jeff said, just try.
Very ideal.
Get out there, and especially for the river fishermen, like in a lake, you get a pretty good idea about a lake in about 30 minutes. And if you have a motor, 15, 20 minutes scooting around, you can get a really good vibe. The river, you're going to get in, you're going to have to go a mile. It's going to take about an hour per spot to like actually scout it. And then you're not doing a lot of fishing. You're just looking for reactions. If the types of fish that you're seeing a bunch of 12 and 13 inchers, like, okay, there are fish here, but like not what I'm looking for. And then, as you go through, like just drift a Ned, you're going to catch fish. So, see what you're finding, largemouth, smallmouth, like whatever, pike. And, just run a Ned for a bit and see what you can find and what type of fish you're finding. And then just do as much pre-fishing as you can in a couple of different sections of the river.
Yep. Just don't beat them up too much because you need them.
No. But like, see, just, stick your net in.
No.
Anyway, it's just a couple inches.
2.25.
Like I said,
perfectly normal. Gosh dang it. Anyways, all right. So yeah, we hit a bunch of stuff as far as like just trying to find the actual spot itself. Let's get into like what you actually take, right? Because rivers, lakes, they're a little bit different. You're probably going to take some different lures, maybe a couple different rod and reel combos, maybe more or less stuff is a big one. And then kayak setup. So maybe do we start with the base on this one? Start with the kayak and then we'll build our way up. So yeah, big differentiator, river kayaks versus lake kayaks. They are not the same. And the sooner you understand that, the happier you will be on said body of water. Taking a crescent Shoalie on a lake is not that fun of a time. Can you do it? Absolutely. Are there better ways to do it? Absolutely. There's a lot better ways to do it. Now, if you take a Shoalie on a river, you are now the happiest clam in the seabed because it's phenomenal on the river. That's what it's made for. It's made to be in current. So knowing what your kayak can and cannot do is really helpful. And if you're not sure or you're looking into getting a new kayak, I mean, we've done 1,000 reviews on them. We have basically the vast majority of kayaks that you can find on the market, other than we haven't got our hands on like Feel Free and Jackson, but just about everything else is we've reviewed. So if you want some details on it, you can see it there. But you're going to look at, for the river, Crescent Shoalie, Bonafide RVR. Those are going to be like your top two. Our preference tends to lean towards,
if you're motorizing, those are your top two.
I think they paddle phenomenally too. Why wouldn't?
No, they do. I'm just saying you can, if you're going to paddle, I think it opens up, there are some other options that open up that are like pretty darn solid, especially for a drift. They are the best though. I would agree.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. They are the best.
Well, I
If
think
you
about
want
the
a paddle
Flint. I
or a
think about
motor,
the U10, and there are some other really good.
I don't know about the Flint yet because I haven't tried it. So I would love
I've
to
heard. I think we know
use it.
enough people to know that it's going to be
Mhm.
solid. So I just think all I'm saying is those are the best if you're gonna. The one I guess to Jeff's point, the most important thing is get a kayak that you can paddle that
Yeah.
is shallow drafting and doesn't weigh as much. Every ounce that you add, every pound you add makes it paddle less good. Um, and if you and like the Titan X, I think is such a good example. Like, what an awesome kayak, unless you're in a river. Like, then it's a horrible kayak. Like, it really is not built for that. Like, it,
Yeah.
it's just not.
But surprisingly, a Hobie Pro Angler 360, even the 14-foot, was actually great on the river, other
Solid.
than other than shallow sections.
Well, super shallow, yeah. Then that's I
Yeah.
think the killer is, and that's what I mean by the shallow draft. So even with the Hobie shallow draft, you've got the pedals to worry about, and you can't
Mhm.
really paddle it. It's the butt to paddle. So it's like that. You want like the general vibe when I'm in the river is motor from spot to spot. Use that to really really move and cover a lot of water, and then
Mhm.
also the whole position upstream, right? So be able to go back and hit a spot maybe 2-3 times, and then that's maybe 30% of the total time you're in the river. The other 70% is I'm using my paddle. It sits in my lap and I'm
Mhm.
fishing like normal. I'm doing a drift, I'm doing just a quick turn, and I'm just using the paddle for the rest of it. So that if that's not in your arsenal, you're not going to have
Mhm.
nearly as much fun. And really, ultimately, at the end of the day, you're not going to be very efficient fishing the river if you cannot pedal a whole bunch because it's deep or be able to paddle.
Yeah, so do your research on those kayaks ahead of time. Make sure the one that you're looking at, if you're ideally wanting to fish rivers, that you're getting a river kayak. And if you want something that does both, you're looking for sort of that hybrid build, then you're gonna have to keep your eyes out for that. There's some good examples out there, like the SS 127 is actually pretty good on both. Uh,
P127.
P127, again, as long as you're not super shallow, because you do have a prop drive, so that's going
Mhm.
to make it difficult in super skinny situations. But it also paddles because it's like the same hull build as the SS
Mhm.
127. So you just pull your drive. Old Town, the PDL 120, 106, both fantastic on the river. Easy to pull those drives really quick. I remember we had our a Hobie Pro Angler 360s, and our buddy Ethan, otherwise known as Fish Anything, he was out in was that
120.
that was the 120. It was before he bought yours. Yeah. So the he had the PDL 120 and he was kicking our butt. Like he was just flying upriver. He was getting to spots we couldn't get to. So it's great. That's another good option. There's plenty of good options out there that kind of do both well. But yeah, like a river specific kayak is going to win on the river, just not on the lake, and vice versa.
And usually I'm taking way less in the river. So in the
That's the next
river,
thing.
my general setup is one, you got to have some kind of anchor. A drag
Yep.
anchor is great. Any anchor, though, whether it's a fixed positioning or not, you're going to want some kind of anchor.
Mm-hmm.
There are times when you need to cast a couple of times at a spot, and it's hard to do without an anchor, and you're going to miss. So
And a
that's
heavy enough anchor to actually stop you in the current.
in the
So
current. Yeah, that's why I
yeah,
like the
or
chain
slow
anchor.
you enough. Yeah.
So I like the chain anchor because you can just
Mhm.
adjust it. So I usually run 2, but if you need to run 3 or even 4, you can do that and go up to 4 pounds pretty easily, or down
Mhm.
to 1, right? If it's super slow. So I love that, super adjustable. Um, but
Yeah,
the
we
other
actually
thing,
have a build video coming up, you guys, on the RVR and the Crescent Choli. So if you want to see
Mhm.
like how we have our anchor set up, we use an anchor wizard, the drag chain attached to it. Drag chain is just like half-inch galvanized chain links, and then you
it's a
just get
pound per foot roughly.
yeah, you get like a foot, you get a couple foot lengths, a couple 6-inch lengths, and then you just hang it like in the middle, and then it covers enough
Full
ground.
squid.
Yeah, it like doesn't catch anything either.
Nope,
So I
never.
used to wrap them in like a bike tube, so like cut a bike tube open, seal them up. That actually will rot out your galvanized over the course of like 3-4 years. They'll just fall apart. They'll disintegrate. So I don't recommend that. And even with the chains open, you're not getting snagged on anything.
Never. Not once.
I've never had it happen. It works great. You know what I have almost died on in the river? Power pole. dropped a
Oh
power
yeah.
pole, and like it was so stuck in the
That
current I
thing was
couldn't retract it.
that section of river was hustling.
That was bad.
They were letting water out of the dam, so we were just getting we were ripping like 5-6 miles an hour down
We
the
shouldn't have
water.
been there. Also, a thing you can look up is when the dams are running. So if a dam if they're running a dam,
You
if they're
never know.
flowing water, you can look it up.
You can look it
find
up
that
when they
out.
typically do it, but sometimes they'll do
Yeah.
it just like what happened to
Well, you
us.
might as well try to be prepared.
No,
So
no, I agree. Yeah.
I'll look something up.
Knowing there's a dam there is enough, though.
Yeah, there's a chance that it's running, especially if it's like spring. It's probably running, and be
Yeah,
careful.
yeah. And then the other thing on just setup, like I take like a pair of pliers, a small crate, um, and
Talking river.
my bump board in the river. Yep, and
Yep.
like a net, I bring it 50-50,
Never heard of
honestly.
her.
Never heard of her.
Sometimes very helpful though. When you're in a current
Yeah.
situation, you just
Oh,
need
I
to
agree.
scoop a fish and get to
Yep.
safety. Like a net can be huge. Make sure it's long enough that you get some reach. That's not a time that I like using even the leverage net from Yak Attack. I like sort of like a medium length net, not like the super short handles, not the super long boys, but like the broken twigs nets that we have. I think are perfect river nets. They float. If I drop it in the water,
They're
I'll just
about a
go get it.
3 foot, 2.5
Yeah,
foot. Yeah.
2.5, I think. 2.5 foot net is pretty solid for that. Fixed position, 2.5 foot net. It's great. Maybe if you can get a cheap one, cut it down. That's a good option too. But at any rate, right? Like what Paul's suggesting there is river, run light, lake, we run heavier. I still don't anymore. I know. I was the kitchen sink guy. I've gotten better, you guys. I'm recovering. But like on the lake, you can obviously take more, get away with more. That's also where you can bring that bigger kayak and be more comfortable with that, especially if you want to add motors, multiple motors. If you want a bow mount, if you want a stern mount, a couple of batteries.
300.
Yeah, you need to run like a Native Titan X, for example, or a Native Hammer or a Pro Angler or something like that if you want to bring a bunch of stuff. I'm kind of at the point Paul is too, where we're more like one motor. I feel good with one motor. With two, it's just a lot to manage. Like some days I need to manage wind, so I bring my bow mount motor instead, and I don't worry about the stern mount. I don't need to get to places too fast. I need to cover big water. I need that stern mount motor. I need a little more horsepower. I need to get out there. Same with the river. If the current's flowing and I know I need to go upriver, then I need to have the appropriate motor to handle that. I'm not paddling it for sure. Or if I'm just doing a float, going downstream, maybe I just need to focus on my anchor setup so I can slow that drift and just really manage the water that I'm covering. Right. Yeah. The real Bilbo, great name, by the way. Great name, actually. The real Bilbo. I love that. Spotlock, baby. Yeah. Not something you're going to use in the river unless you're in a super deep, wider section. You can get away with it. We've done it with the Garmin, for example. But if you're on the lake, bow mount, spot lock all day, holding positions. And if that's like the type of fishing you prefer to do, then that's great. You know, we're just speaking of both. But yeah, so let's talk about, running light, running heavy. So how many rods do we typically take on the river, Paul?
I take different rods if I'm going lake versus
right. So on the river, what do you take?
So on the river, I usually just have one jig rod that is going to be a swim bait rod and a jig rod, and probably a chatterbait / spinnerbait rod. And I'm willing to tie and retie and tie and retie. And then I have one spinning rod, usually a medium.
Yep.
And then if it's a tournament, I'm not bringing ultralight, but if I'm just fun fishing, I'll usually have one. And then I'll usually have one like medium heavy fast. And that's really it. Sometimes I'll bring, two. That's pretty awesome. OG. He's at the Maryland Mailer
My man.
Sick. But yeah, I usually bring 2 casting, 2 spinning. And I try and have the most like more moderate action, more like middle of the road, like do it all combos, so that I can have everything I need. And I'm willing to tie more. Reason being, when you have a bunch of rods up or on the deck, either way, whether up or down, they're in your way and you're a liability. If you catch a fish, there's a tree over your head, at least in Michigan. And and it's going to
Rods are
drag you in.
gone.
It's going to drag you in that tree. You're going to lose a rod. It's going to suck, and you've got 2 more things to manage while you're trying to actually land and measure a fish. So, you know, if I can get away with 2 to 3 rods, have all of them laying down most of the time, 1 in my hand, 2 laying down, or, you know, only have 1 behind me, that is a huge benefit. Huge benefit. So I'm usually running light on a lake. I'm usually running, if it's a tournament specifically, I'm probably running 6 rods. Glide rod, medium heavy fast, medium heavy mod casting setups, 2 spinning setups, and I might have a third like big bait casting setup for like a rig or whatever for like trying to catch that big fish, or an ultralight if it's dead of summer and I know I can like go way down and catch a couple. That's
You
like
mean
my
for
general.
some pig jigs?
Hell yeah!
It's like you said ultralight. You said ultralight, and he popped in. Like,
I love it.
No joke.
Yeah, dude.
And on that note too, like Adam Little 595 says, do you guys bring BFS rods or not doing that much lately? I don't think I ever brought it all the time. I brought it a lot of the time. And I think it's just like I've tried it a couple times so far this year and it just hasn't been like the right time yet. I'm not bringing ultralight either, but it is getting to that time. So I'm going to start to bring it, especially since I picked up a couple of new setups that I want to test out. And we've got like the fancy Daiwa PFBX or what is it? The BFPX 70. Now it's all messed up in my head. The acronym thing. We got the new Gravity. So what is that one called specifically? That's the ARC.
I think it's the Avid. The BFAL.
The BFAL.
So I think there's a BF. It's the BFA, the Avid, and then there's an L and an R for right and left. So it's the Gravity Avid.
Got it.
This thing is sick. But yeah, we always have something to test out on the BFS side of the world. We got a whole bunch of casting, all the different Zephyr and Kestrel models. So we got a lot of work to do on the ultralights. Plus, we have some ultralight glides we have to test too.
We do. There's a bunch that haven't even touched the water yet. So yeah, no, we still do that. Would I take that for a tournament? Not typically, because I'm trying to catch the bigger fish.
Dead of summer though, maybe.
Dead of summer might be different.
Sometimes it's your only option.
Sometimes. We'll see if we bring that to Marinette event in Wisconsin in August. We'll see. But yeah, we're still doing it for sure. And you know, it just depends on the day. Yeah, for me, I'm pretty similar to you on the river. 3 is the magic number. I like 3 rods, 3 combos is sort of the magic number. I want the medium spinning setup. That's my Ned rig tubes. And then I'll have the medium heavy casting setup. That's like my dual chatterbait, jig, spinner baits. And then nowadays we'll bring like the glide stick. So it's maybe another medium heavy or it could be a heavy stick if it's actual like swim bait day, throwing big glides. That's not as typical. I tend to like to throw like the swag LT and, you know, mix in a glide here and there, but like a 5-inch glide, nothing crazy. Yeah. Throw a clutch micro boss or something, Buka trick shad, something within weight range reason for that medium heavy. So I get a medium heavy that's like a 3/8 to a 1.5 ounce type setup. And it works great for that. So love having that. And then you also have your jig rod, right? So you want to catch giant smallmouth? Sometimes just throwing a jig, baby.
That's why I almost always have I feel like the jig rod is by far the most valuable because it always goes up to that 1 ounce, magic 1 ounce. And that gets you into glide bait, swim bait territory, especially with the more moderate action. It's a great chatterbait option. Like that's my second chatterbait choice / spinnerbait choice. And it works great for jigs. So it's like you get bottom contact, moving baits, and big baits all in one. Like all in one. That's pretty much, I don't know that will ever not be with me. That's the baseline.
Yep. So that's my river setup. And then same thing on the lakes. I usually go with this 6 combos. Just, I mean, for the most part, so you can manage specific techniques. It's rated appropriately for that. You got action. So you're actually playing the fish with the right action, right power, so you're not losing fish. That's the worst thing in the world. Throwing a lipless bait on a too stiff, medium, heavy, and then losing fish sucks. So you bring the medium mod, you have a way better time. So partially for techniques, and then partially, you could say I don't have to cut and change as many lures. Yeah.
Well, and like your follow-ups are so much faster. Like you always have a follow-up on deck. So if you're going top water and then you can come back with a wacky rig or something, like you have it all ready to go.
Yep. So there's definitely a benefit to that, especially in a tournament situation where every second kind of counts, right? So I think that goes a long way. Also, shout out to Pig Jigs because you sent me these. I have them. I haven't met with Paul since I got them, so I'll get them to him. But we do have a new color with Pig Jigs. If you guys want to check it out,
dude,
it should be in our shop too. But I think we called it the Shadtruce Juice.
It's
which was a 1 second decision via DM on my part. He was like, "What do you want to name it?" I was, Shadtruce Juice. This buzzword. No, it's like a kind of a shad profile, but it has a hint of chartreuse in it and some copper flake in the skirt. And then if you know Pig Jigs, you know that he does an amazing job with the jig head painting that, so it actually like matches the colorway really well. And he's got that in a couple different varieties, but he sent us the Ulated, which is his little BFS bladed jig. So pretty sick. I mean, we love the color. There's a reason it exists. It's actually so we did it it was like our personal spin on our favorite GLF color from Great Lakes Finesse, which is the Matte 309.
Matte 309, legendary.
So we took that and we're like, what if this was a jig profile? What would the skirt colors be? And then we tweaked it with our buddy over at Pig Jigs. So shout out, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for doing that color with us. And if anybody wants to pick them out, go check them out on his website. And then I'll see if I can pop it into my store too, if I haven't done that already. But hey, people are liking it. Awesome. Also, he's testing a new bait, which I'm really stoked for. Anytime you get stuff out there, panfish spin sounds like a blast. All right. So we covered rod reel combos, kayaks to an extent, and again, like there are kayaks that do both. I'm not trying to say you have to get a lake kayak and get a river kayak. Like just get what works for you. Just know what it's capable of and what it does well. I like, for example, like Native and Bonafide do a great job, and New Canoe too, of listing like stability metrics. So they'll have like Native Bonafide, they do a 0 to 10 score on stability, how it does in current, how it does on flat water. That can be helpful when you're looking at one model or the other. And then New Canoe does that, but they do it with like a little bar graph that tells you. So they do something a little different from what the other guys are doing, and I appreciate it. I think that's cool, and I want to see more companies doing that. Yeah. I think that's helpful. All right. So do we get into like the stuff that matters, what I'm actually throwing in the water at this point? What are my lures? Okay, cool. Let's do that. So what lures are we bringing? Should we start with the river? Just keep going with that's our preference. If we could fish the river all day, every day, we would. But if we're hitting the river, it's a little different. We already mentioned quite a few of them. Ned rigs for me is a must for sure. But Neds, and then we both always are bringing tubes. The Great Lakes Finesse Juvie Craw, fantastic. If you want a little craw, as opposed to the Ned rig, which has like no claws on it, you want like a defense position craw, you get the GLF Snack Craw, another great option. But if we were to boil this down, like what you want is kind of a mix of finesse and power fishing techniques that are going to do the job. There's the Snack Craw right there, a little magma. But you want to have the right thing. So think forage. What are fish eating on the river? We've got hellgrammites and we've got craws. Those are like most common, as well as obviously bait fish. So it's where you're running your underspins. So throw your tubes, match the hatch for the craw, throw your craw style baits. You're gonna get those bites as well. There's tons of great hellgrammite baits out there. If you want just like a super budget friendly one, Yum has a great one. And if you want the bougie version, Great Lakes Finesse also has one. So they're pretty great.
Theirs is awesome.
Yep. All great options. Throw that on a Ned head, throw it on a jig, whatever you want to do. Those are good options. But jigs,
craws, it's bottom contact. Tubes, like, bottom contact is I go bottom contact heavy for the river. It's so critical, especially as it gets warmer, it becomes more important. Like every day it gets warmer. it matters more and more and more.
And then you move up the water column a little bit, you're throwing crankbaits. Square bills are king in shallow rivers, choked out sections, fantastic. But the Rebel Craw,
they got to be
yep.
durable. So
Yep.
I know you can't see this because it's washed out. These bandits, it's so funny. Jeff posted a video, great crankbait, but the Berkeley, which one that broke?
The Money Badger.
The Money Badger exploded. So many people were like, should have thrown a bandit, should have thrown a bandit, should have thrown a bandit. And I was like,
wouldn't hurt as bad.
I know, because they don't die. Like they are, this is the gold standard for durability. So for me, yeah, dude, I always have some billies. And now square bills for me, they're usually more of a reaction bait. And so I'm usually using those like earlier in the season, especially when the water's a little bit more stained. And anytime you can smash into something where you think a fish is with a crankbait, you have a chance that it's just smashing it out of just pure reaction, and it's not even looking at it like food. And that's usually going to be earlier in the season.
Yep. And then you can also hit jerk baits, can do a good job. More so than that, we lean on flukes. So flukes are fantastic. You can run them weedless. I love throwing like the scented jerk shads from Z-Man on a ZWG, and ideally with the belly weight. So I get like the 1/8 ounce belly weight, and that'll just bring it down a little bit in the water column, but you can rig it super weedless, run it wherever you want. It catches a trillion fish, which a lot of these also, you guys, they work on the lake too. I'm not saying it's only one spot or the other, but what we're talking about right now, that guy right there is maybe one of the best river baits you can throw.
Yeah, this is the pearl color. The pearl color is elite. It is the number one.
Yep. And then nose hooking those, just get a wide gap like a wacky hook and nose hook that. And that is going to give it imparts a lot more action on it, but just get it up on the bank and just twitch it back towards you. And that is a technique that the boys over at Ashigan, Josh Renko, swear by. And that's how you end up with the munchie, which is probably the next top tier river bait. That sucker right there that you'll never see because it's washed out, but it looks really cool. We've unboxed it a ton on the channel. It's a silicone bait, and it comes with the hooks. It comes with a nail weight. They have a belly weighted version and a nose hook version. It also has barbell eyes, so it's a one-piece eye construction that comes out, and then it has a mesh material in the nose, so when you punch your hook through, it doesn't come out.
Stuck forever. Do it right the first time.
Also, that I've ruined one, which is like an expensive mistake. But yeah, rig it right the first time. You're not re-rigging it. But the benefit
you can cut the barb and then you can pull it back out.
So yeah, then you lose the hook. But yeah. So yeah, at the end of the day, those are great. And that runs you like mid shallow, like all the way up to top water with those. If you run them weightless and you're just kind of twitching it back really fast. And then you get into, your chatterbaits, your wire baits, spinner baits are great. If you want to cheat on the river, you get a MEPS, just a rooster tail, a MEPS, inline spinners. They've been goated forever because they work great. And then you go to the top, and then you go to top water. You got to love the spin and image. I definitely prefer the black and white version, which River to Sea calls it the loon. I think it's herringbone is the head and color name. But yeah, the black and white, that is my top tier go-to. Bone is great too. You get to walk in baits, tough to do in current a lot of the time, but the whopper plopper style, the spin and image, so good on the river.
Must have
giant catches on those. And then a buzz bait. Yeah. So like buzz bait would be the next thing and you're good. Like, I know I just listed a lot of things, but you don't need a trillion of each.
Your general deal on the river is going to be bottom contact is an absolute must-have. You must have a finesse and a larger size jig. You must be able to go bottom contact. So I always have
football jigs.
That's where everything starts. That's where everything starts. After that, you've got to have a couple of different swimming options. Flash tends to do better. So if you don't have a chatterbait and a spinnerbait, you are at a disadvantage. There's no getting around it.
You got to move, especially if you're drifting. Like you got to be able to pick a spot and just be like, boom, boom. Spinnerbait, I can get 2-3 casts off, especially if I'm running a drag chain. If I'm like trying to twitch something there, if I'm trying to like set something on
Jerkbait's like
bottom.
the last thing I'm grabbing. It's at the I
Yeah.
bring it, but it's the last thing.
Yeah, but if I can just run spinnerbait, run a
Yes.
chatterbait, I can get a couple shots at a spot, and I got a way higher percentage likelihood of actually catching that fish than the person who's just like dragging a Ned once.
Yep.
Right?
And then
Like
you gotta have some, you gotta have some drift baits. So that's where
Mhm.
tubes come in big time. That is where your lighter Neds come in big time. That is where your paddle tails come in big time. That's where your crankbaits come in. Like you got to have some moving baits, but you got to be able to attack the middle a couple of different ways. That's the trickiest one, I think. Bottom contact's relatively easy. You already talked about it. Any craw or tube presentation is you're gonna do well. You're gonna figure it out for sure. Any jig. The
Yep.
middle is the harder part for sure, but like a spinnerbait pretty much takes care of all of that. That is the one. And then you talked about top water. So I agree. I think the prop style baits, especially in the summertime when it gets hot, that's peak. That's elite. That is the best. A pop R never hurt anybody though. Never hurt anyone on the river for sure.
Nope.
No.
Especially if you get the slack or seams, like if you hit that slack water,
Exactly.
or you can play a seam, or you like just a popper in front of like a lay down, brush piles, docks, things like that.
Yep.
And topwater smallmouth bites are pretty fantastic.
Yeah, they are.
I'm here for it.
And then a buzzbait. I mean, those are, if you had those 5, 6, like any 5 or 6 of those, you got a couple at the bottom, couple the middle, and couple at the top. I think you have a shot at catching fish no matter what. So
for sure,
you'll notice like that's relatively simple. Like that is not super complex. I'm always going to have a large and a small version, a light and a dark version. Oh, and the last thing is I'm always going to have a big glide, a big swim bait.
I was like, we missed one. We missed one.
Like if for
soft swim, hard glide.
Gotta have one. So I'm not terribly different in the lake, but in a lake, you don't really know what you're going to come up against. Like you should basically have your top 5, 6 favorite baits. You should always have those. Period. The end. Like whatever they are.
Standard.
Have your favorites. The way you fish, the way you know you can go get one, whether that's a big glide, an A-rig, a chatterbait, a jig, swim jig, it doesn't matter. Whatever, however you like to catch fish. I go more like in a lake, I go more textbook though. I'm going more like, okay, this time of year calls for this type of bait. I will have the best 3 options for this type of, this time of year. So if it's cold out, I've got a jerk bait. I've got, some sort of like swim bait, and I've got a chatter bait or a spinner bait. Like I'm ready to go. When it gets hot, I've got my Senko lined up. I got a jig lined up. I got a top water lined up. When it's like late fall, I got the drop shot tied on. I got the Ned rig tied on. And then something, a rig tied on. Like, I go stock standard, whatever the Google internet machine says when the water's 62.5 degrees. I go up a little, down a little, and I'm grabbing those. Like, and then whatever else I can fit in the kayak.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is you have a lot more room to manage that tackle. We hit the river, I bring 1 tackle box and 1 terminal box. And then I bring a Evolution plastics for the plastics that I bring with me. So that right there. And we slim it down, right? Like you don't need every color of everything.
No,
if I'm hitting the river, you need whites, blacks, and then you need like a chartreuse something or pink. And like that way you have natural, you got something that's going to pop if you hit those muddy pockets and things like that. On the lake, same thing. Like if you can look ahead of time, the water clarity, which you can find on certain apps like Omnia's app, for example, like that'll give me an idea of what the water clarity. Could that change? Sure. But like it gives you within reason, better understanding. And we mentioned it earlier, but like if you can get to a spot and pre-fish, like just bring all your tackle with you to a tournament. And then once you know what they're hitting, slim it down so you don't have to make game day decisions. Like be there on game day in the zone. You're only fishing the stuff you know is going to work, and you're not wasting time trying 1,000 things. That'll save you so much headache. If you're going to do a tournament, you're already traveling to a place. I implore you to take an extra day of work off and go there early. we need to do that too somehow. Maybe not this year, but next year or something.
I'll
But
do that
like,
for Wisconsin. I'm already gonna have to take extra
yeah,
days for drive or flight. So
yeah, we got to
yeah,
figure out how we're getting there,
I'm 100% taking an extra day.
especially in Wisconsin, dude.
Especially in Wisconsin. Like I feel like that is, dude, I mean, that's where I want to be fishing, like badly.
Yes, absolutely. So if you can take the extra time, do it. You will benefit from it. And then yeah, just coming back to lake lures, color, like don't worry so much about colors. Like have a couple of light brights. You got something that's natural, something that's dark, and something that's light. Like you're gonna be fine. I like to do mixed bags. Just also know if your colors are gonna get messed up. So like Z-Man, for example, if it's white and you put it with any color Z-Man, it will be ruined. Also, their purples tend to bleed a lot too. So just be smart about like what baits you're combining and whatnot. But
it means in one bag. So if you have a bunch of net rigs and you put 3 different colors in one bag, just know that you can get in trouble there.
Like I have a 30-pack of Yum Dingers, and it's just like a couple of my favorite colors and like 4 or 5 baits each, and just loaded up. Awesome. Now I've got, if it's a Texas rig day, I've got any color I could want in the Yum Dinger. We're good to go. So yeah, plan ahead with something like that, and you can save a lot of room too. The last thing I want to throw on the lake, it kind of one way that I think of a river versus a lake. And most of the time, because I'm dealing with that current, I'm fishing faster on the river than I am on the lake. So on the lake, I can also bring patience baits like drop shot, like jerk bait, and I can take my time with those. So if the bite gets tough, I can just go look for them and do that. Somebody brought it up earlier. If you want to bring your cheater box, if you want to bring your forward facing sonar, I'm not doing that on a river. I would definitely do it on a lake. We haven't used ours in a long time, so I don't know if I will anytime soon, but if you got one, use that investment. You can definitely do it. Rob Harrison's got one now. He's got Paul's old one. So he's out there using that cheater box. Get after it, bud. But it is a benefit too of covering a lake. So if like fishing's just tough in general around everybody and you know how to use forward facing sonar, that definitely no arguments about it. That sets you apart from the pack in a tournament setting for sure. Unless it gets outlawed, then you're screwed.
No question.
Anyways,
it's still setting you apart if you're a big cheater.
You're really bad at fishing. Nobody likes you, and you stink. That's what we know about forward facing sonar. What would our man Randy say? That's what I want to know.
Is he still doing that? Like, what are we doing?
I don't know. He seems more wishy-washy about it lately. Times are changing.
I should have sent him my unit.
We just send all our forward-facing units to him. I like it. I don't use this anymore. I heard you.
I figured you'd want it.
Gosh. All right. Do we miss anything?
No.
I think we covered lures. We got bait
safety.
Combos,
I do tend to bring extra clothes for the river. If you get dumped, especially when the water's cold, you want extra clothes. I know that a lot of people bring like fire starter. That's a good thing. I never do, but it's a good thing to bring. And and every condition's different. Sometimes the river's just a little more tame and it's not as big of a risk. But tell people where you're at. If you know you're pulling put out, definitely do that. Definitely, that's a big one. Lake, I worry less. I worry a lot more about the river.
Unless it's a big lake.
I said less.
If you're on a big body of water, you can get lost out there.
Of course.
Creek posted a Creek Fishing Adventures posted a short about getting lost on what lake were they on with all the trees and stuff? That was like a month ago. Drew did that tournament. I don't know. I'm not cool on the tournament scene, so I don't know where they were, but it was a huge lake and he got lost. So
I'm not surprised. I've gotten lost on my home lake before. At night.
Really?
At night.
Oh, yeah. Get turned around.
There's no landmarks on my lake. Like I knew generally where to go. But until I got to shore, I was like, there's nothing to see. It's all trees. It's 10 p.m. What are we doing?
Yep. But yeah, letting someone know where you are going is huge. And for some reason, I don't know if people do that. Like
the river, especially though. Like my wife, I dropped a pin, but the river is a big one.
Yep. Yeah. It's not like, look, in a fight with water is going to win. You will lose.
Have a knife. That's a big one for me too. You know, the number of times I've had, I mean, I had to cut my anchor chain, not my chain, but my grapnel anchor in the river and in the lake actually before too.
I've been with you for both of those times.
Yeah, I mean, stuff happens. So I, you know, definitely have been glad to have a knife a couple times. And I mean, at one point I accidentally caught a pretty big fish, but I had my line very tangled, and it was either let go of the rod, which I didn't want to do because that was a bunch of money, or let the thing freaking strangle me because like I didn't have enough horsepower with the Hobie pedals to get up current in this choke point. And you know, a fish had run under a log and I thought it was snagged and it wasn't. And so I was trying to, but I could have cut the line. I did have my knife. So, yeah, just always have a knife and have it on your PFD, not in your pocket, not in your kayak. Have it with you, and bring a de-hooker tool. If you won one, great. Rob Harrison, congrats. And, you know, Rodney West, congrats. Like, you know, bring one, but I always have one with me because I'll tell you right now, the day you get hooked is the day you'll instantly regret all the times you were like, I won't need it. It'll happen eventually. It's going to happen.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, mess around.
You can't fish this much and just not have it happen. You can't fish a jerkbait that much and not have it happen.
It's guaranteed to happen at some point in time. Yeah. So all good safety stuff. People ask us all the time what knife we use. Is the NRS Copilot. Things like 80. They have a version that's like $80 and then like a titanium tip one that's like 120 or something like that. But you don't have to get that one. That's just people ask us about it. There are plenty. The clip right to your
best. It's not even the best knife.
No, there's plenty out there, but like get one, right? Get one that clips your PFD in an accessible spot where you can just grab it really quick and like cut that line and move on alive. Preferably, that'd be great. Also, Steven Valenti 3722 says, I'm not rich. My electronics are the 4-inch Piranha Max DI.
That's great.
Same. Our river setups are actually, Paul is using a $110 Lowrance Eagle 4, and I'm using a $170 Garmin, and I'm blurry now, $170 Garmin Striker 4. Both are great. I love that actually. For the river, because you can take like a 10 amp hour Naqua battery. It's no added weight, stays out of the way.
No space.
Transducers are tiny. Like it's super manageable. Definitely my preference on the river. Now, if you want side imaging, you got to step your game up a little bit. But you know, 4-inch sonars work great, man. No reason that you got to go up. When we were on the ocean, all we had was a Garmin Striker 4. That was the only sonar that worked between all of like 13 kayaks out on the water. We had that, and we had Navionics, and that's what we lived off of, and it worked great. Sweet. And then I did see a Facebook comment actually from Danton Poe. Says, what glasses have you guys tested? I just ordered some Smith Optics guide choice. The Smith Optics look sick. Never actually used them with prescription, but I have had like a pair of Smiths in the past. Good quality sunglasses. Same with like Spy and Oakley, and those are fine. And then we've tested Costa, but we always end up landing on Hobie. Like that's why we use them all the time. We even tried like Waterland. I feel like Waterland also has a great option. I think they're good sunglasses. I felt like
they're
my
more
lenses,
expensive though.
They're more expensive, but I felt like my lenses wore out a little bit faster.
One season.
Yep. And then Hobie offers floating sunglasses. So that's kind of a preference
fully
too.
Recycled product. Like it's
if you get the whole float. There's a whole float. What's the new one called? Dang it.
Well, now that you said it, I can't remember it. But
I ruined it.
Yeah. What is it?
I'm gonna find out.
I'm gonna be mad when you say it.
When I find it, because I'm looking it up. Our personal favorite right now is the Mojo float. The Mojo
float. Yeah.
The updated Mojo floats. Those are
for like daily wear. Yeah.
Yeah, they're so good. But what is the new recycled one? Why can't I? My life's ruined. I don't know. I'll never find. Oh, is it the Cove? No, that's not. Dylan's gonna be so mad.
James the Fisherman is asking about Cast King sunglasses. I actually have them right here. I just got them. Literally.
Oh yeah, we did just get those.
They're right. Oh, is there there's a reel in here.
Yeah, I sent that to you. It's an ALTI. Oh, the Hatch. It's called the Hatch float.
Dude, the Hatch got there. I love those.
The Hatch.
So we do have these, and they're really inexpensive. I have not tested them yet. Got a small. Look like I'm in the Matrix.
They're $30. They're
$30.
$29.99.
I feel like I look like I'm like a coated white dude right now. This is brutal.
You're that is
The thumbnail
PC principal on South Park. That is
exactly
who you are.
what it is. Those are a little small.
Listen, bro.
Those are a little small. Oh, these will be. Oh, dude, these are dope. Oh, these are actually. Holy crap, these are sick.
They are polarized.
Dude, these are
$30.
dope. These are little tortoiseshell ones. These are.
That's a fit. That's a fit.
These are.
There we go. Sick. I love how this turned into a fit check.
Dude, these are dope. I like these ones. I'm wearing these ones every day. Those are cool.
There you go. Awesome. Yeah, and then Royal Coachman for sure. There's plenty of options. You can go to Zenny. You can go to Sunglasses RX. You can do 1-800 or glasses. What is it? I've done a bunch of them. I've done the cheap glasses. Cheap prescription. I'm saying I've done those too. Sometimes good, sometimes maybe not so much. I've had good luck with my Hobies, so I stick with
these
them.
Osages.
Around $100 more.
These Osages are actually pretty awesome.
We have two of those, right? Or no, we don't. We have two similar frames with the two that you have there.
There's the
but
Osage.
I also got they have a polarized pair that goes over your prescription glasses.
Yes.
So I got that as well, and I want to try that out for a day on the water.
That's
so it's like a $30 sunglass that goes over your prescription glasses that you can wear. No high hopes for that one, you guys, but we'll see how it plays out. I'll use it for
and like some people don't have another option. Like that's I mean, some people just don't want to or can't afford a $350 pair of sunglasses. Jesus.
Well, that's it. And you guys are calling it out in the chat. Like there's plenty of options for, like prescription sunglasses that you can get for a little bit less. And maybe sometimes you look out, like One More Cast Please got the Wiley X's, which for $200 is insane. That's a deal. That is because those are very expensive. All right. But yeah, that was fun. Let's dive into some slow rolling thunder and head on out of here. And then again, shout out to anybody who's at the Kayak Adventure Series, Pulaski, Virginia right now, that new River Revival event. We wish you luck. We hope you have a great couple of days. You still got pre-fishing tomorrow, so get out there and get after it. And then good luck on Friday and Saturday. Shall we, Paul? Slow roll our way out of here?
Let's do it. For me, I want to know, as an adult, like as a kid, we all had you had your lunch, but you had the snack. The snack was what we all actually cared about.
Yep.
And it was like Gushers, fruit by the foot. You had peak snack options. But as an adult,
snack pack.
If you're rich, as an adult,
how does it always go back to this?
I don't know. There's just stuff I never had access to.
Okay. Well, anyways,
as an adult, what is that peak lunch option where you're like, a snack option where you're like, oh, bro. Made it to the big leagues. I'm having a day. It's gonna be lit.
Right now for me, it's actually a protein bar that I found at Sam's Club.
Which one?
I guess a couple different places, but it's called Built Puff Bars.
Same. I can't believe you just said that. What?
No, you're eating those right now?
Absolutely. Dude, absolutely.
That is like the peakest protein bar
God. That was my
ever
answer.
had.
Which one though? Which one?
So I have tried 4 flavors. Peanut butter's all right. It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
It's fine.
But the s'mores and the chocolate chip cookie dough are
cookie dough.
The cookie dough is really good.
Dude, oh my God.
And they like cover it with chocolate, but there's like 3 cookie dough pieces on it. They're just like
that's all I want. I want the turds. Give me the turds. Leave the rest.
But the brownie one's fine. It's like a combo box.
It's fine.
But the s'mores is also really good. I really like
the s'mores lit. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But cookie dough's peak. I don't mind the coconut one though. The coconut one's pretty good.
I haven't had the coconut one yet, and I know they have a bunch of like weird flavors too. But I stick to the basics. I get the combo pack from Sam's Club, which is like, I don't know, it's like 25% less cost. But so it's
you got to
pretty sweet, and you get 2 flavors. Yeah, they are expensive. That's funny.
Dude, that's my answer. What the frick? That's
I
insane,
went first.
actually.
You lose.
Wow,
Come up with
that
something else.
sucks. All right. I do have something else though.
Okay.
Whenever, dude, the gas station beef jerky.
Yeah,
You
jerky
can
is
come up with a snack
Yep.
stick for a snack. Oh my god, elite.
top tier.
Get a spicy Dearborn meat stick, dude. Yeah, you're living large, living high in the hog. That's a big one.
The meat stick. Oh man. All right. Good stuff. I think we covered lakes, we covered rivers, we did the thing. Did we help? End of the show. We're just like,
Did we?
did this help?
Everyone's like, no.
It's like when you go to a fancy bathroom and you're leaving and it has like the happy face, the neutral face, and the sad face.
Yeah.
Or like airports are like, how was our bathroom? Awful.
Yep.
Always. Our show just has a happy face. Displeased face as well. But yeah, hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Obviously, if you're trying to choose the right body of water, there are some tips and tricks you can hopefully take away from this episode. If you're at a Kayak Adventure Series event, you got to make choices. Right? You got to pick the right body of water. You got to gamble sometimes if you don't get a chance to pre-fish like we didn't in Indiana. Not that it would have helped us or anything, but I'm hopeful thinking there, I think. But you got to make some decisions, right? Do I hit the river this trip? Do I hit the lake? And a lot of people they're like flipping a coin on it. But there are better ways to go about doing it. And then play to your strengths, something that we probably didn't say, or if we didn't say enough. We did say, you did. It's kind of like how I introed the episode the right way. And you were like, why didn't you say that? I hear you. I respect that. Awesome. So play to your strengths and hit, if your strengths are rivers, hit the river. If your strengths are lakes, hit the lakes. Or if you're like Paul and I, we just say we're going to Kayak Adventure Series. We're just going to hit the river.
Heck it.
Like I don't care about any lakes. I don't care if I win or lose. I'm hitting the river.
If I lose, I'm losing this way.
Right? Like it's kind of a mission of ours at this point is we just want to explore new rivers in new states. That's part of the joy we get from fishing. But at any rate, hopefully this was a fun episode. We had fun hanging out with you guys, and we'll be back again next week with another one. So come hang out with us then. And if you didn't see your friends in chat, you should tell them that they should be here next time. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out and supporting the channel. And we'll see you next week. Chaz, take us out of here.